Enchante and bienvenue, my fellow mutants. Happy 4th of July out there to you, to my fellow Americans. It's, I'd like to say it's a lazy 4th of July day here for Strebo, but I'm actually gearing up for work late night tonight. The old day job beckons, you know, you have to do what you have to do. But in between my few hours off, I am trying to get caught up on a few of my MVP duties because I've been remiss in keeping up updates on all the websites and vlogs and Twitter and just pretty much everything. I've just been crushed by work here of late. But I'm very excited because, in case you haven't heard yet or haven't seen the latest episode of MVP Mutant Radio, we are gearing up to head out to the Fandom Fest in Louisville, Kentucky to meet Stan the Man Lee himself in the flesh. You know, my last vlog, I got a lot of comments from people saying that it was overly harsh or what have you. My mom texted me and said that I cursed too much. So, fine. You know what? From here on out, I'm going to eliminate cursing from my vocabulary, whether I put out vlogs, podcasts, what have you. So there you go, Mom, you win. Because I was faced with having to block my own mother from my videos, and I just did not want to cross that line. So do what you have to do. But anyway, people thought I was a little too angry last time out. Listen, these vlogs are an experiment. You know, subjects come up, I decide to talk about them. Sometimes I push the boundaries. I turn the emotion up to 11 a little bit, so to speak, just to see what kind of response I'm going to get from people, what kind of interaction it creates, what kind of frisson we can get going between us all. But this time out, perhaps we'll counterpoint that. The karmic wheel of balance will spin the other way because I'm super excited about meeting Stan Lee. We just published the latest edition of MVP Mutant Radio, which if you're not familiar with it, check it out on iTunes, or you can follow this link here, or here actually, and it will take you right to the latest episode. Yeah, so here's what I did. I bought the Stan Lee VIP package, which gets me a photograph, a professional photo op, a signed item, and I get preferred seating at the Stan Lee Q&As, which is cool. I'm looking forward to that. And there's like, you know, you get to go to all the events at the show because it's a VIP pass. And then I got a ticket to the Stan Lee meet and greet, where you go to. It's a small gathering. Stan speaks to the group of people. You're allowed to ask him a question. Then he signs one item for you, and you take a picture with your own camera. So it's cool. So I'm going to get to meet him face to face and also in a group. And I'm going to get to do a photo op and just all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be it's going to be my Stan Lee weekend. This is it, you know, because every time I go to one of these cons, I try to just take complete advantage of it, whether it's going to meet Clive Barker, George Romero, Roger Corman, John Carpenter. You know, before you get there, you want to kind of determine, you know, which guest is going to dictate the course of your weekend. And for me, it was Stan Lee this time. Now, originally, it was going to be Kevin Smith and Stan Lee. I was super excited about meeting Kevin Smith, so hence my last vlog where I expressed my, you know, momentous disappointment at the schedule change, where Kevin is going to open the show instead of it being part of the weekend event. But, you know, that's cool for everybody that gets to go to it. I got my refund, so what can you do? C'est la vie. You just have to move on. So I'm refocusing my sights on meeting Stan the Man. Though it's been a kind of a weird week, I do want to mention briefly the recent passing of Jim Kelly, co-star of Enter the Dragon, or one of the stars, actually. I'll be too busy looking good. That was my signed photo from him. I wish I'd have gotten two now, but I just couldn't afford it at the time. I just got one. But he had a really cool photo of him with Bruce Lee, and I'm referencing the time I got to meet him at Fandom Fest in 2011. And not only did we meet him, Gio and myself, but we got to interview him, and it was a pretty extensive interview. And now I'm thinking back about our interaction. And he was just really humble and gracious with his time. and he wanted to talk, and he enjoyed talking to fans. He talked for a long time to Gio about Ferraris, and they talked cars for a while. But then he and I talked martial arts. We talked some about the movies, and but we also just talked about martial arts in general, and it was just a great conversation. And I felt like when he and I talked about that, and then we talked about the possibility of interview, that's kind of what the interview morphed into. And I remember him saying to me that his agent told him not to do any more interviews when he came to this convention, but he said, but I want to do this. And I said, well, we can make it short, but if you want to talk for a while, we can go as long as you want to go. And it wound up being half an hour long. And he initially said he wanted to keep it short, but as it was going, he just said, let's just keep going. So I don't know. I find that kind of poignant, I suppose, I guess, because he had been battling with cancer for a long time. So who knows? Maybe he saw our interview, our discussion, as one of his last chances to really get his thoughts and philosophies on the martial arts out to the world. So I feel really or really grateful and just honored that I was able to talk to him and meet him and just facilitate the happening of that interview. I tried to make it as good as I could. But anyway, so Stanley. I'm not counting on being able to interview Stanley. I don't know what that event is going to be like. It's going to be pretty crazy, but I don't know. I have passes to everything. Perhaps I'll catch him at one of the parties, one of the VIP gatherings, or maybe at the meet and greet or something, and he won't mind saying a few words. So it'd be cool. You never know. But it is what it is. Now, before I close, I do want to mention another passing of a legend, Kar-leung, aka Shaolin, director of the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, aka the Master Killer, aka Shaolin Master Killer. Also the director of, the name of the other one was escaping me now, but Shaolin Challenges Ninja, or Heroes of the West as it's known. So many movies, on and on and on, up to Jackie Chan's Drunken Master 2. He died a couple weeks ago, so it's just been one martial art legend after the other passing away here recently, and so much craziness going on in the world. But that's why I try to be grateful for all the good things we have in our lives. Like I'm looking forward to this upcoming Fandom Fest event. There are going to be a lot of things going on there, but Stanley is going to be the major focus for me. There are several other people that I want to talk to, like Colin Baker, or John Barrowman, or probably won't get to talk to Gillian Anderson, but who knows, maybe some of the Firefly people or what have you. Fred Decker is going to be there. Definitely, I would like to interview him. I always enjoy getting at least one good director interview or writer interview at each convention. So he'll make for a good director interview. And of course, Adrian Paul from Highlander. So it's a cool gathering. What's the guy's name? Jason David Frank from the Power Rangers, who is the Green Ranger, who went on to become a mixed martial artist. So that's cool. I mean, he always gets high marks in my book. But anyway, so that's it for me. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. If you're going to be at the Fandom Fest, hope to see you there. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to take to get signed. Maybe I'll take a copy of this to get signed. I'm thinking of ordering an 8x10 offline, just because I've learned over the years you never want to depend on what the celebs are going to have signed. They usually don't have a very good selection. Sometimes they do, though. Sid Haig had all the good stuff at his table, so who knows. But then sometimes you get stuck with John Carpenter, who has the worst selection of photos I've ever seen at a celeb table. But what can you do? You order in advance. That's what you do. So I'm going to try to find one. I want a good 8x10 of the meeting between Stan and Spider. It's an old one from like probably 77 or so, where the guy's dressed as Spider-Man and it's Stan and they're facing off nose to nose. And I'd like to get him to sign that, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, check out our epic discussion on Stan Lee on MVP Mutant Radio. And if you want to know more about Fandom Fest, visit their website at www.fandomfest.com. Of course, we're at mutantville.com. See you there, guys.